Nice. Great. So the first thing we're going to do is the Guyanese rock buns. So I'd like you to take out your ingredients for that. That will be your flour, margarine or butter, brown sugar, nutmeg, raisins, baking powder, your eggs, vanilla, milk, coconut. Right? So once you get that together, we will start. So I'll give you 2 minutes to get those things together, and then we'll start putting it together. And feel free to ask your questions throughout the class. I may not be able to see you. I will be able to hear you. And of course, if you type in anything, if you message, no, you don't have to wash your raisins. So
Miss, I didn't get the coconut. So I have to look on.
you didn't get the coconut.
No.
Okay. Well, no problem. You can probably do it tomorrow or sometime during the week.
Sometime, yes, I will afterward.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's very easy to make. So it's, yes, you can use the large egg for the 2 medium eggs. That's no problem. You may have to put a little bit more liquid, but when you reach to that part, then we'll decide if you need more liquid or if it's good enough. Because this mixture is really a stiff batter, if you want to call it that. When you're making rock buns, there's a couple of things that you need to know. One of the things is that whatever fat you're using, whether it's the margarine or butter, it must be extremely cold. So it should either come from the fridge or the freezer. It can't be soft because then it will start to break down your batter, and then when you try baking it, it's going to spread out. Yes, Abigail, no problem. Right? So if that is the problem you would have had before, where you try to bake the rock buns, or we have another name for it, rock buns, rock cakes, or drops, coconut drops, same thing. If it's spread out, it could have been that it had.
Excuse me, miss. If I have dark vanilla, is that okay?
Dark vanilla, clear vanilla, any kind of flavoring is fine. It doesn't have to even be vanilla. It can be mixed essence, it can be pineapple, orange, whatever flavoring. So yes, that'll be fine. Actually, I have that same thing too. All right. So as we start to mix, I will tell you. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Anisha. Excellent. Appreciated for that. Appreciative of that message. I see a lot of people still coming in. So I guess I'll have to go over a lot of stuff. Oh, you have extra. That is excellent because I don't like small eggs at all. Whenever I use small eggs, my calculations tend to go off. So I always prefer to get large eggs. Right? So I see, wow, a whole lot more people coming in. So it means I'm going to have to repeat some stuff. So for those of you who are already in the room, we are doing rock buns first. So,
I'm hungry. Yep.
oh my God, the amount of people coming in is like if a bus just landed on Zoom. So in the meantime, while they're coming in, get our stuff together. You are going to enjoy making these rock buns, and they are so super delicious. My daughter loves them. Anytime I make rock buns, 2 or 3 goes missing before I do anything with them. So I can guarantee your family is going to love these. All right, so it seems like the bus has slowed down a little bit. That's okay, Danielle. You can always reach out to me and I can help you along the way. Right? So I'm asking my assistant to put my phone number in the chat so that if you need to get on to me, you can always message me WhatsApp. I will respond to WhatsApp very, very quickly. So the best way to get to me is WhatsApp, or you can get me through Facebook Messenger, or through my business page on Facebook. Right, so that's my number there. You can reach me there. WhatsApp, sure to get a response. So I think we should start now. It seems like most
Miss, where your
people
number
are-
is? I ain't seeing it on the screen.
It's in the chat.
How you get in there?
Just go on the bottom. You're using a phone?
Yeah.
All right, so go on the bottom of your screen where you see
Yeah.
mute and video and all that. And to
Yeah.
the right where you see the three dots, tap
Yes.
on the three dots. And then you'll see chat. Tap on chat, and then you scroll through the chat and you'll see my number.
Gee.
All right, so I think we can start now. So I'm going to turn on the camera. I will not be able to see the messages anymore. My assistant will read them out to me, as well as you can feel free to open up your mic and ask a question or say whatever you have to say. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the camera so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm not too sure if you can see there. Yeah. See here? All right, good. So in this bowl, I have the flour, brown sugar, baking powder. And I added a little bit of salt, but you don't have to add the salt. So you can go ahead and do that. Flour, sugar, baking powder. So let me make it easier for you. 2 cups of flour, that's all-purpose flour. Half a cup of brown sugar. And the recipe says 1 teaspoon of baking powder, but put in 2. It's actually 2 teaspoons. Okay, I'm not going fast. So let me go over again. In your bowl, I want you to put 2 cups of all-purpose flour, then a half cup of brown sugar, then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So that's a change you're going to make on the recipe. It's 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Right? Then to that, you're going to put in your nutmeg. So you can grate in your nutmeg. Or if you have powdered nutmeg, you're going to put in about a half a teaspoon. Now at this point, you can put in other flavorings too, other spices. I am going to put in about a half teaspoon of cinnamon. Right, so I'm putting in a half teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, if you want to put in any other flavoring, you feel free to do that. Normally with the rock buns, it's just the nutmeg alone that is used. But I prefer to have a little bit of cinnamon in it. Right, so when we reach here, we're going to take out our cold margarine or butter, which is a half cup. And a half cup means half of the whole one. Right, so after I put in the nutmeg, I had put in some cinnamon. That is what I wanted to put in. It's not in the recipe. Yeah, so this is the butter. This is not a stick. This is actually 2 sticks. Now, this is just an example I'm showing you, right? So this whole thing is 1 cup or 8 ounces or 227 grams or 2 sticks. All the same thing. So you're going to use half of this. If it's a block of butter, same thing, half of it. So that'll be half a cup. Right? So I had cut mine into some cubes. So I'm going to put it in. And then we're going to break it up with our fingers. So if you go back to school days when we were in Form 1, for a lot of us, and we did the rubbing in method, more than likely it was the same thing we probably need. This is called rock buns. Some countries call it rock cakes. Some people call it drops, coconut drops. So we're just going to break it up into as fine as we can. The butter we're using is half cup of butter or half of the whole block. So half of this, right? Whatever brand you're using, half. And it must be cold. Right? So just break it up until it gets to fine breadcrumbs or as fine as you can get it. Yeah, yes, you can. You can use the cooking if you have that. You can use any type of solid fat. The difference with the cooking though is that it's full fat and it is not much flavor. But if that's what you have, you go ahead and use it. Right, so we're rubbing in, rubbing in. So we break up everything. If you don't want to use your hands, you can also use a fork or a pastry blender. I don't know if you know it's a pastry blender. Do I have one close by? So this is what you call a pastry blender. So you can use one of this, you can use a fork, or you can just use your hand. It's quicker for me with my hands, so. Right, you want to move quickly because we don't want the butter to start to melt. Or at least to get too soft. Right, so. Yeah, you can use Blue Band. Blue Band is a margarine. And that's fine. Right, so I think I have everything rubbed in here. So after this, we're gonna add in the coconut, which is half a cup. We're still feeling a couple little lumps. Or if you have 1 or 2 lumps, that's okay. Yes, you can use the glazed fruits. That's no problem. Whatever you want to put in here, you can go ahead later on with the nuts and the fruits and all that. That's not a problem. if you don't have coconut, you're not gonna get the nice texture. So you're gonna get something, it will come out something like scones, which is fine also, but you wouldn't get the same texture. So if you wanna go ahead and try it without the coconut, you will get a good, okay product. You can probably replace the milk with some coconut milk just to get a little coconut flavor or some coconut essence. All right, so let me just wash out my hand and we're gonna put in 1/2 cup of coconut, the shredded coconut in here. And you can go ahead and preheat your oven now. You're preheating at 360, or if you're using Celsius, 190 degrees, 190. So 360 or 190. Actually, there's not a difference, you know, in the sense that one is Trinidad's version and one is Guyana's version, because some of the islands also call it rock cakes. So it's more or less what twist you put it. I don't think the Guyanese version has cinnamon. I think they have just a little bit of nutmeg. But it's the same method and more or less the same ingredients. Right, so I'm going to put in the 1/2 cup of coconut, shredded coconut. So yes, I did cheat. I did put a little more than the 1/2. I'll mix that up here. Oops. Right, and then we're going to put in the fruit. So I have some dark raisins. And someone asked me about the purple fruit. You can put that also. I also have cherries. I like my cherries nice and chunky. So I cut up some chunky cherries. Right? So you can put in whatever. You can put in some nuts in here also, different types of nuts. Whatever dried fruit. Just make sure it's dry. So dried fruit and nuts goes perfectly in here. Right. So tell me how you're doing. Anybody wants me to slow down or you all okay? Okay, so nobody said anything. I take it that we're all okay? All right, so in a separate container, we're going to mix up all the moist ingredients. So I have them here. Your 2 eggs, your teaspoon of vanilla, 4 teaspoons of milk, and that's it. Right, so the three sets of liquid here. Okay, Natasha, tell me what's going on. No, it's not the same as sweet bread. The ingredients are more or less the same, but sweet bread would have more liquid. So the batter for sweet bread is going to be a little more runny than this. This one is going to be stiff. You'll see in a few minutes how stiff it will be. No problem, Natasha. You just go ahead and break it down. Right, so 2 eggs with 1 teaspoon of vanilla and or whatever essence you have. You can use mixed essence also. And 4 teaspoons of milk. No, it will be UHT milk. That's the milk in the big box. If you have evaporated milk, you can go ahead and use that also. Small eggs. Go ahead and use your 3 eggs, 3 of the small eggs. And then you will use 1 tablespoon of milk. No problem, I can go over, no problem. So what we have here in the first container, we would have put in the dry ingredients. So we have the 2 cups of flour, together with the 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon nutmeg, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Remember, we're changing that 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And then we would have rubbed in the margarine or the butter. So it just, well, we would have used our hands, most of us. Break down the butter until it gets like breadcrumbs. After that, we added in the coconut, the 1/2 cup of coconut. Then the raisins. I think I would have used about 1/4 cup of raisins. And then I added some cherries also. So that's it for this. Right. So after we finish with, somebody said something?
No, I was going to ask concerning the milk and the eggs. Because you say if the eggs small, use 3 eggs, right?
Right.
And how much milk?
1 tablespoon.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so that's one of this. Now, the end product of this is supposed to be very stiff, because if it's too soft, it's going to be running all over the place. So I'm going to add the liquid to the dry. It is going to be stiff. I'm telling you one time, it is going to be stiff. Right, but try not to beat it up. Yes, once you've mixed up everything, throw in all. And then take your spatula or your spoon and turn it up. But try not to beat it. Right, so it should end up with a very stiff mixture. Might hurt your fingers a little bit. Right, and that's it, yeah, we're done with this. So I hope you would have started heating up your ovens, because we're almost ready to put this into the oven. So how are we doing? So we're gonna put this on a greased baking sheet. And I have a 1.5 ounce ice cream scoop. Use whatever size you have. Right, so I'm going to use this. And the nice thing about using an ice cream scoop is that each one will have the same portion. And of course, it's easier. Okay, my oven is ready. So if you
Miss
don't
Olo,
have,
do you
yes,
have
ma'am.
to, do you have to grease the dish?
Yes, yes, please grease your tray.
Okay.
Sorry about that, but yes, you should grease it. If you don't have an ice cream scoop, then you can use you can use a 1/8 cup. Some of the measuring sets don't come with a 1/8 cup, but you can use a 1/8 or a 1/4 cup. I think I have a 1/4 cup here. Right? So I have a 1/8, I have a 1/4. Right? So both of them are small. You depending on the size that you want, you can use one of them. But you may have to use it with a spoon because when it goes down inside the cup, it may stick a little bit. I'm trying to fit all on one sheet. I don't think I should do that. Yes, you can use the parchment paper. You don't necessarily have to grease it. Right, so this is it. Now what some people do, they sprinkle sugar on it and then they put it in the oven. I'll put some sugar on this set. I think I'll use some white sugar. The white sugar sort of makes it look a little sparkly. You will get a little bit of spread from it, but not too much. It shouldn't spread out too much. Natasha, how you doing? Right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven. Oh my gosh, don't worry about it. The first time is always the fight. After that, it gets easier and easier. So I'm going to put this in the oven for 15 minutes, and then I'll put the rest on another sheet, and then put that in for 15 minutes also. So this is what it should more or less look like. So oven time. Right, so I'm going to put the rest here. So the last one had about 15, I think. Yes, you can sprinkle brown sugar. That's okay, Natasha. It's a rock bun. Rocks are not smooth. So that's okay. So I can roughly say this will make about 20 of this size. This is a 1.5 ounce. So So which means if it's a 2 ounce, it may make about 12 to 15. Right. So I'm not going to put anything on this one. I'll just bake this as is so we get to see how different it looks, if it's any big of a difference. Right. So this is what we get here. So I'm going to put this in the oven also for 15 minutes. When you are finished, we are going to start up the chicken. So take your time. I'll give you a 5 minutes so that you can finish up that, clear up your station, and then get your stuff together for the chicken. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So we have chicken. What we should have together now is the chicken. Your chicken should have been seasoned. So I have some chicken here that was seasoned. Right, so seasoned chicken. And then you should have some thyme. Okay. some garlic and onion. Right, so I have mine minced, the garlic and the onion, they separate this time. Yeah, well, the big time is no problem. Some tomato paste. Now, you don't have to use the Maggi. If you're not into that, that's no problem. The Maggi and I think adobo, you don't have, if you don't have it, that's no problem. So I'm just heating up the pot. I actually don't have the adobo, but what I'm going to use is some of the chief garlic and parsley powder. So this is going to be my replacement for that. And then I have, right, so I'm going to use this Maggi. Pardon me? The tomato paste. Actually, if you try to use ketchup, it's not going to be as strong. So you have to use the tomato paste. You know what you can use? You can use ruku if you have that, because you're really using it to get a red color. So if you have the ruku, you can use that. If not, tomato paste. If not, well, then you really have to sear your chicken really good, because what's going to happen, you have the ruku, good. You see what's going to happen if you don't, if you don't use the tomato paste, it's going to get a pale color. Okay, so I'm just fighting up with the tomato paste to get it open. All right, voila. Finally. All right. Right, so what we're gonna do first, we'll sear the chicken so that we can get a nice color in it, as well as we wanna seal in some of the juices. Pardon me? Pasta sauce. No, not pasta sauce, it's tomato paste. Pasta sauce is not the paste. That has water and a whole lot of other ingredients in it. Right, so for searing, we're gonna add a little bit of oil to the pot. Yeah, we're gonna put the oil. Actually, I'm just trying to get the pot to dry out, so that's why I haven't put in anything yet. So you know what, let me just wipe it out and done instead of waiting, right? Good. So now that the pot is dried, I'm gonna put in some oil. And this oil we're gonna use to sear. All right, so I'm going to put it into for the chicken pieces. If you've removed the skin, no problem. But what we're going to try to do here is actually get some crisping up and some browning up, so that when it starts to cook, you'll have a nice color. My daughter likes it soy, so I have to make sure you put soy there. Right, so make sure you put it with the skin down first. Then we're gonna flip it. See how it's frying up a little bit? It's searing up and searing up. Nobody asking anything, boy? What? Everybody's staring. What seasoning I use? Okay, what the Haitians use is something called épice or a piece, which is really their version of seasoning. So normally they will use a lot of parsley, onions, garlic, thyme. What I use here is a little bit of parsley with a lot of onion, garlic, ginger, a little bit of thyme, salt. I think that was it. So you can go ahead with whatever you have. I'm trying to squeeze in. Right, so I think my pot has reached capacity. Right, so what we're looking for here is for the skin to start browning up. It's gonna take a little bit of time. So as soon as that happens, we're going to turn over all, let it brown a little bit. And then we're going to have to take it out of the pan and put it aside while we make the sauce. But for now, we're just frying. Remember to check your rock cakes. Mine are not finished yet. I still have about 5 minutes, but make sure to check them to see that they're okay. Make sure they're okay. This smells so good. We have not started to brown yet. So. Right, so we have to make sure the pot is really, really hot. Okay, it's gonna take a while. Right, so we're not turning yet. Now, if you check yours and it's already brown, then you can go ahead and turn it over. Mine is nowhere near that yet. Right, so if it's light brown, leave it for a little bit still. Mine is not there yet, so I can't show you yet what it should look like. You see, if we don't do this part and we just put everything into the pot, it's going to be like boiled chicken and it's going to be a very pale color. It's not going to look appetizing at all. So we have to make sure it's here. Put it on high because it really should be a quick sear. No, the ruku is coming in later. The seasoning would have gone before because the chicken would have had to be seasoned before you put it in the pot. But the part for the ruku is coming up first. All right, so my pot is taking a while. Yes, so we're going. Let's see. Some silk wheel. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this to the stove so that it can brown up faster, and I'll bring it back. But in the meantime, yeah, that's okay, let's run into this. Right, so I'm going to, it's on the stove, which is a little bit faster. All right, so if your timer went off for your rocket and you find that it still needs like a 5 minutes again, go ahead and leave it for the 5 minutes. All right, so I'm coming back across there. All right, so I brought it back so you can see. So once it's seared up, we're gonna take it out. So the person who said that you're finished, you can take it out of the pan, add in the water. It's a quarter cup of water. It's gonna get brown. So you see like how this part here is brown? It's gonna get brown. You see how the brown on the breast here? That's what you're looking for. Yeah. It's about what, 2 tablespoons? 2 tablespoons, yeah. So using the same 2 tablespoons, water, then the ruku or the tomato paste. Then you add in the, if you're using the Maggi, you put in the Maggi, the onion, the garlic, the thyme, and then you add in back your chicken. Right, so I'm going to take it out. So I'm gonna take it out, rest it in something on the side. So we're gonna do something called the glazing. Oh, this looks so good. Right? You see? We have turned brown. Good with that. Good. All right, so we're gonna put in the water now. Yeah. Right, so the water. That was a quarter cup. Water. Then we're going with the tomato paste, 2 tablespoons. Or if you have the ruku. Then we're going with the onion and the garlic. So that was 2 teaspoons of garlic. Half cup. Oh yeah, sorry, it's half cup of water. Right, so I'm gonna add in the garlic. Well, this is onion here first. And the garlic. Right, and I am going to add in a little bit of my own flavor. Right, so this is a little bit of white wine. It's about a quarter cup. You don't have to, but I just find that the white wine adds some really good flavor. I'm going to put in the Maki cube also, and I find that mine needs some more water. So this is another quarter cup there.
Excuse me, miss.
Yes, dear.
You could go over the tomatoes. The sauce for me, please.
Sure, no problem. So after you remove the chicken from the pot, you'll add the half cup of water, then 2 tablespoons tomato paste. I would have used about 2 tablespoons of the onion, 2 teaspoons of garlic, and then I added some white wine, which you don't have to add, but you may have to add some more water. And then you can add some salt. And remember that thyme. So I picked one of these. Normally I don't pick them because what I do when I go outside, I just slide them off. So that next 2 weeks, this will have leaves on it again. Right, so you can put in that. And I'm going to lower my heat. My heat is really too hot. Right, I think that's all we were supposed to put in here. And then you can also put in the adobo if you have it. But I already use the Maggi, so I don't really want to use any other seasoning. If you want to put in your Scotch bonnet pepper, you can go right ahead. That's your hot pepper. But for now, I'm going to put in the chicken. But I still find that the sauce is too thick. Right.
Yes, excuse, how much salt?
That was about a half teaspoon. But put your salt to taste. So use the half teaspoon, taste it, and then see if it needs more, according to your taste.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Right, so I think this sauce is tasting really good as is. So I'm going to add in the chicken. Oopsie. So what I do, I add it in, skin down first. Well, it's supposed to be skin, sear down first. And then halfway through the cooking, I'll turn it over. Right. So you let that simmer, cover it down, let it cook on slow heat for about 15 to 20 minutes. Make sure you check your rock buns, please. So I'm going to take this and put it on the other side. And then we're going to come back and try the rice. And cook the rice. I'll try it, we're going to cook it. Right, so I'm moving this over to the stove. So these are the rock buns, rock cakes, drops. I don't know if you've seen it good. Right, mine came out of the oven just a few minutes ago. So they should be hard on the outside, nice and crusty on the outside, and on the inside it should be nice and soft. Okay. Right, so finish up with that. Then clear your station and get it ready for the rice. Any questions you can ask? Well, if you put a little bit too much tomato paste, it may get acidic. It may taste a little bit acidic. But let it cook down for a little bit, and then you'll see if it needs adjusting later on. So I'm getting things together for the rice and peas, or the peas and rice. I hope you would have had your kidney beans boiled or using the cans.
Miss Excuse,
Yes, yeah.
I said, I saw in your menu for the chicken, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw just, let me just get back my own. Right,
Uh-huh.
for the chicken, you said that you were supposed to marinate the chicken because I asked a question in the chat and you didn't respond because I know you're
Sorry.
busy. Right, that's okay. So I
Uh-huh.
saw in the recipe, in the method, you said that, well, you clean the chicken and everything like that, but you had a marinade to marinate the chicken, right? With the different ingredients that given, right?
Right.
And then you came down when you were searing the chicken, and then you did you made the sauce for it. So is
Right.
it that you're using the ingredients that you give to marinate the chicken for it to be overnight in the fridge, and then you use some of the ingredients from there to make the sauce for the chicken?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
The season is separate from from what you're putting in the pot.
okay. I just want to
Yeah.
get that
So
clear.
that, yeah, that is what I was mentioning earlier. The thing that they call a piece or a piece. That is
Repeat?
the
No,
application of
repeat.
seasoning.
Can you repeat what you just said?
The Haitians,
Right.
they have something they call, I think it's pronounced a piece, EPIS. And that is their version of the seasoning for this.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's when I mentioned about the parsley and the garlic, onions. That is what they will normally use to season.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah,
You,
so it's
we
just
can, but we can season, but I can season my chicken how I custom season it, but just use the ingredients and making the sauce, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Correct. Because
thank
their
you.
seasoning, you're most welcome. Their seasoning really isn't anything out of what we are accustomed to. It's
Okay.
just that they may use more parsley and we may use more size.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
you're most welcome. The outside will be a little dark. This is for the person asking about the rock cakes, Linda. So Linda, once the outside is a little bit brown, then you know it's finished. The bottom also is going to be brown. But usually the 15 minutes is fine.
Miss Excuse,
Yeah.
for the rice, if you don't have jasmine, you could use your normal brown rice, right?
Yeah, you can use brown rice, any long grain rice. You can use brown rice, basmati rice, jasmine rice,
Okay, okay, great,
Mali rice.
nice.
You're welcome. I actually have basmati. If you're using the powdered milk, mix it with some water so that you get 2 cups of coconut milk. So we start with that, the onion, garlic, the oil to saute, and the coconut milk.
Miss Excuse, if you don't like kidney beans, is there another pea beans you can use in replacement?
Sorry about that. Yes, you can use black beans or any other kind of bean.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're most welcome. What's the question? All right, so Shirley, you said you got bumped up after the searing. So after the searing, you would have removed the chicken from the pot. Then you would have added the half cup of water, the tomato paste, and the other seasonings. I would have used a little bit of white wine in mine. And then put back in the chicken, cover it down, and cook for about 20 minutes. All right, so let me show you the rice that I'm using. I got this rice. This is a really nice rice and it comes in a really pretty bag. It's basmati rice actually. So as someone had asked earlier, you can use the basmati. You could use any long grains. Jasmine, basmati, Mali, brown rice. Right, so I'm gonna just wash out 1 cup. So the pot is heating up. We're gonna add the onions and garlic up, the oil, onions and garlic as it's heated up.
Miss, another question, sorry to disturb you.
That's no problem at all.
If you use the beans from tin, do you wash out the beans?
No, just drain it.
Just drain it, okay.
Yeah. Yes. Wash the rice. Yes, you can wash the rice. And remember to use the powdered coconut milk. Mix it with 2 cups of water. So you can use a ratio of 1 of the packs to 2 cups of water. Right. So I hope we're ready. Let me know if you're ready. Actually, let me know if you're not ready. Yes, Natasha, whichever rice you're using, we're using the same measurement of the 1 cup. Right, so I'm gonna give you 30 seconds and then we're gonna start cooking the rice. Good, so we're ready to cook? Ready to rice-a-roni? So let's add the oil. Then we're going in with the onion and garlic. This is my garlic. Sorry, this is my onion. So this is 1/4 cup. And then the garlic here. So we saute in there. And that is really fragrant. Right. So we saute in for about a minute. Now, if you want to use olive oil, you can go ahead and use your olive oil. I would have used some vegetable oil. Now, normally when you're making a pilaf, you're adding the rice now and then the coconut milk. So you can either add the rice and then the milk, or add the milk and then the rice. Right, so let's go in with the milk one time, the 2 cups. Right, so we have to wait until this comes to boil. Actually, we have to add the 1/4 cup of water and then 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. So 1/4 cup water, and then I'm going to add in the allspice. Right, so if you have more time, you can just put it in one time. I'll put in the time one time. Actually have some loose pieces too. So I'm gonna put that in also. And it's optional for you to put in your black pepper. No, 5 spices, not all spice. 5 spices, only 5. You want all. It's 2 different spices actually. Actually, it's 2 different types of spices. 5 spices are a blend of spices that is used in Chinese cooking. And allspice is from the pimento berries. So we want to get the allspice, or you can just use a little bit of nutmeg, like a 1/4 teaspoon. And add in your salt one time. 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. What you can do is just taste it. Salt, Abigail. Oh, you're talking about before the salt? That was black pepper. Yes, you can use a ground clove. Same 1/4 teaspoon. Don't use too much because clove is very strong. Right, so we're looking for this to come to a boil, and then we can put in the rice. Right, so I see the steam is coming up, so we know it's about to boil. First we start to see tiny bubbles and will get bigger and bigger, and then we'll start a rolling boil. So in the meantime, you can check your chicken. The chicken would have been about 25 to 30 minutes. But if you find it has a lot of liquid, you can let it continue to cook slowly until it's reduced. All right, so I'm seeing some bubbles coming up here. Right, so I'm boiling now. So I'm going to add in the rice. All right, so Makira, you have to tell me from where you want what was the last thing you heard? So I'm putting in the rice because we would have gotten a rolling boil, which means that it was boiling with big bubbles. No. Makira, tell me what was the last thing you heard before you were pumped out? No, the rice was, Antonia, the rice was raw. All we did was wash it. Now we're going to cook it. All right, so Makira, let me go over the whole thing for you, right? Right, so I was going to tell you, rice. The pot was probably heating up at the time. So I would have put in the oil and then saute the onion and garlic, 1/4 cup of onion with about a tablespoon or 2 of garlic. Then I would have added in 2 cups of coconut milk. Then a quarter cup of water. Then we put in the spices, which would have been the allspice, half teaspoon of allspice, some ground pepper, some black pepper if you wanted that, and the thyme, the fine leaf thyme. Well, I use fine leaf thyme. Bring it to a boil. Sorry, and I would have added in the salt also. It actually came up to about a teaspoon of salt. I would have brought it to a boil and then added in the rice. So when you came back on is probably when I was putting in the rice. So I am going to cover this and let it cook for about 20 minutes. But I'm going to move it back to the stove. So once you've reached here, we can put that to cook up. Well, you can leave it on your stove. I'm going to move this to my stove. And after the 20 minutes is when we're just going to stir in the beans. All right, so I'm going to move this. You're welcome, Akira. So I'm going to move this and then we're going to start the fritters. All right, so let's get our ingredients together for the fritters. So we're going back to flour again. So we're getting out the flour, the can of corn, or if you're using the conch, your conch should have been steamed because you have to use it cooked. Bell pepper or sweet pepper, garlic, salt, onion, celery stalk, thyme, chili flakes, eggs. So we want to put that on our station, clean up everything else, and then we're going to start that. So I'll give you 2 minutes to tidy up and get ready for the last thing. Yes, you can use the saltfish. Yes, Nikisha, cover the rice because we're going to cover it and let it cook for about 15-20 minutes. And yes, Abigail, you can use your chicken breast. Cooked chicken breast. Cook your chicken breast first. Oh, Camila, looks good. You look nice. So it's going to be nice and crusty on the outside, and on the inside it's going to be soft. If you're using canned corn, don't throw out the water, don't drain it. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute, Wayne, every week you looking to show up, so Wayne, but you look good. I like how you use the cherries to decorate. All right, so I'm still getting together the things for the nice thing about fritters is that it's like a one mix and you're done.
Must excuse your camera off.
Yeah, I'm coming to you. I haven't started anything yet. I was cleaning up. Okay, so I see somebody sharing screen. What's that? Cheryl? Cheryl, that's your chicken?
Yes, Miss, that's the chicken.
Oh my gosh, Cheryl, you look good. I
Thank
like
you.
your garnet.
Okay.
So now that you send the chicken, you should send Keisha next.
Okay, sugar one, you can come.
No problem, I'm coming. I'm
Okay,
coming 8:59.
I will link with you.
Right. Right, so I guess we're ready now for our corn and fritters. Sorry, corn fritters. Corn fritters. Right, so we're gonna go with 2.5 cups of flour. Yes, Teresa, you can use some onions in the fritters. If you don't like the onions, then you can leave it out. You can just use the garlic. Right, so 2.5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, right, I think everything else we can add together with the liquid. Yes, Makira, once it's boiled down and almost dried up, then you add in the beans. Okay, so once you are allergic to shellfish, you can use the corn, or you can use the chicken, or the saltfish, well, yeah, or saltfish. Right, so I'm just checking on the rice. So I'm going to add in the beans and my rice now. So I'll come back. Rajni, I'm so glad that you have the skill now, because now you see how easy a lot of things are, and you would have paid so much money for it. All right, so now we can get to our fritters. Right, so in this bowl, what I have is baking powder and flour. And here I have the egg. So we will add, right? So we'll add the other stuff to the egg, so it will be easier to mix. So we will add we go with the onions. Well, Makira, if you find that the water has gone down and it hasn't cooked properly yet, yes, you can add some more water. Right, so we come back here, we have the egg, we have the onion. We're going in with garlic. Do we have garlic here? Yes, we have garlic. 1 egg. Oh, sorry, 2. You can use 2 if your eggs are small. Right, I'll put in the thyme 1 time. My thyme jokes are so funny. in my opinion. So I'm putting in the thyme. I have fine leaf thyme here. And then I have some peppers. I have some green bell pepper and I have some pimentos. Adding in that also. And we have some chili flakes. I'm going to get some chili flakes. So I'm going to add in the chili flakes. That's optional also because that's going to give you a little bit of heat. So the chili flakes, and then we have celery. So I'm going to get my celery, and then that'll be it. And a half cup of water. No, actually, before we leave, I will discuss what I'm doing in the next class. Nice. Yes, Aguilera, we're looking good. All right, so we have all the other additives here. So I'm going to add in the salt one time. And then add in, if you're using the corn, just put in the can of corn. All right, so you want me to go over? No problem. So we have two containers here, one with dry ingredients, one with moist. So in this one with the dry, we have the flour and we have some baking powder. In this one, we have almost everything else, which is the can of corn, the onions, the garlic, bell pepper. Well, let me give you the measurements. So we have the can of corn, quarter cup of onions, quarter cup of bell pepper. Well, I would have separated it into bell pepper and pimento pepper. The teaspoon of fine thyme, the celery stalk, the teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of chili flakes, the egg, and then the half cup of water. Right, so we're going to mix this up. Now the half cup of water will really be dependent on how much water we have in the can of corn. So for now, I will suggest that you go in with quarter cup of water and then see if you need the next quarter cup after it's mixed. All right, in the meantime, I'll put some oil for frying. All right, so again, right, so I just put in a quarter cup. Don't put in the whole half cup because if the can of corn has some water in it, which it will have, we don't know how much it is. So now I'm going to add in all. and then mix it up. Now don't beat it. Just mix, 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 mix. And start up your oil for frying.
Miss the corn in that?
Yes, the corn was in the measuring cup also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna put in my next quarter cup of water. Right. So it will loosen up a little bit. So what's important for you to know is what the batter should look like, so that you know if you have enough liquid or not. It shouldn't be too tight. So this is more or less what it should look like. So it's more or less like an accra, the kind of batter you'll have for an accra. So that should be enough there. Right, so that is what it should look like. It shouldn't be too runny. And of course it shouldn't be too stiff. Right. So if your measuring cup set has a 1/8 cup, you can use the 1/8 cup. If you want them bigger, of course, you can use a bigger cup like the quarter cup. But the 1/8 cup will give us some neat little ones that should come out like a pillory kind of size. So let me just check to see if the oil is ready. And the answer is no. No. It's low. Okay, it was low. So I have to wait for it to heat up. Yes, Shanice. After the 15-20 minutes, then you stir in the beans. Yeah, process it, but in your processing, it should be cooked also. So you should cook it, process it, and then add it to your mixture.
May I excuse you adding the saltfish to that batter?
Yes. So where we would have added the corn, that's where your saltfish would have gone in, into the liquid also. About 1.5 to 2 cups of oil I would have in the fryer. The rice should be a little bit dried. It shouldn't be too sticky. But it would depend on the type of rice you have and how much liquid you would have used. And it will be sticky if you overcook it also. Right, so my fritter is now starting to fry. Right, so you see the bubbles now coming up, so it's now getting to fry. No, this one was even not in the recipe. You use either the corn or the conch. You don't use it too. Right, so we're getting on here. I'm just letting the oil heat up a little bit more before I start to add the rest. Oh yeah, Ayana, you look wonderful. Okay, so this first one is finally frying up. Once your oil is hot, you can fry up. And that's why I like this small one, this small measuring cup, because it fries up faster. So we'll fry for about a minute or two. You don't want to get too overzealous and put too many in the pot, because of course it will slow down the frying. Yes. No, Linda, this one doesn't glaze. The sugar that you would have put on top would have been enough for the display. So you don't have to glaze it. All right, so we see some of them turning a little golden. Right, so we're just letting it get a little golden. Right, so we're getting a little brown. So I just wanted to get some color. The oil should be at about 350. Fahrenheit, which is about 180 Celsius. If your markings on your stove as high and medium and low, around medium, you can start off at high, but you may have to adjust the heat because it's gonna start off really nice and then it's gonna get very high and then it's gonna dip. All right, so we see we're getting nice golden brown color here. Right, so there we have it. There we have it. So at the bottom of this recipe, you will see the dip for it. So you can go ahead and make your dip afterwards. But I see it's already 5 to 6. And I know you will have some questions about the next class. And I just want to go over a couple of things in the next class because I know somebody asked if we'll be doing 7 things to the next class. The answer is no. We will not be doing 7 items. Someone wants to see the consistency of the batter? Sure. Oh, that looks good. Abigail, that looks wonderful. Okay, somebody wants to see the consistency of the batter. Let me see if I can poke it here for you to see. Oh, somebody share it. Shanice? Yes, Shanice, your color is on point. All right, so I'm taking these out. So it will have a look like acras, which more or less is what fritters are. The same acra is really a fritter, a saltfish fritter. Right. Oh, somebody had asked me about the, okay. Someone asked me to show you the consistency. I'm coming with consistency. Right, so this is what the end product looks like. And the consistency. So let me just drop some so you can see. That is the consistency. Consistency there. Right. So that's it there. Nice. So now you can see me. You can talk to me. This kitchen is hot, hot, hot. So tell me, we are at the 6 o'clock junction. Somebody is sharing. This is good. Oh, this is from last week. Very good, Deborah. Okay, so just let me just get my stuff and I'll tell you. Okay. Yes, 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 I'm getting it together for you. So just give me 1 second. I'm getting the plate ready for you. But in the meantime, let's go through. Now, I don't know how it will look on the LMS, but I know somebody asked me about if we're doing 7 dishes. No, we're not doing 7. Very good, Gabriella. Yeah. Right. So what we're going to do on Thursday is the Southern fried chicken because we're doing American cooking. So we're doing the Southern fried chicken with the biscuits. You can do the gravy if you want. And the chicken with the biscuits. And there was something else. That's what I'll tell you. Right, so the chicken and biscuits with the corn and cucumber salad. Oh, okay, somebody. All right, hold on, let me answer that. Ayola, you can add salt if you want. I just added like about a pinch of salt. It's not necessary. No, Micheline, we're not doing the Philly cheesesteak on Thursday. We are doing. Okay, all right, so I don't know, Wayne, I don't know what you will see when you open up your LMS, but what I can tell you all now is what we will be doing on Thursday. So it will be the Southern fried chicken with the buttermilk biscuits and the corn and cucumber salad. You can do the gravy also because normally when the Southern fried chicken is done with biscuits, the gravy is also done. So those are what we will be doing. So let me go again. The Southern fried chicken, right? Very good. Wayne, thank you so much. So you all just take a look at what Wayne just posted. Fried chicken, biscuits, gravy, corn and cucumber salad. Perfect. That is what we're doing on Thursday. And then on Monday, we will do the Philly cheesesteak. So let me just go through that recipe because I want you all to do something before we get to class. I want you to do something. I want you to make the marinade for the chicken. So I want you to cut up your chicken. You're welcome, Camille. Cut up your chicken, and then you're gonna use the salt, the garlic powder. So that first part that says marinade, you're gonna prepare that. Now, this is what you normally call the buttermilk biscuit. Sorry, buttermilk fried chicken. But I'm not gonna allow you to buy buttermilk. You'll make the buttermilk, which is the 2 cups of UHT milk and the 1.5 tablespoons of vinegar. So you're mixing all of that and you're putting your chicken to marinate in that overnight. so that the following day it will be ready. It needs to marinate overnight. All right, so I'll say it one more time. Where you see southern fried chicken and you see the marinade, you're going to prepare that part. The chicken cut into 8s. And then you're going to add all the other ingredients. Please do not use green seasoning. Do not use green seasoning. We're going with what we have here. I know you're going to be tempted. Do not use the green seasoning. This is one time you're not going to use the green seasoning. Right, so that is that. For the buttermilk biscuits, I need you to have your butter and shortening in the freezer. It needs to be extremely cold. So that is 2. And then of course the corn and cucumber salad. You can, that's simple. Yes, you can use Crisco. Yes, Wayne, you can use the Crisco. But put it in the freezer the same way, because whichever one you choose to do, it needs to be very, very cold. So that is fine. You're most welcome. Very good. Who is it? Abigail. Abigail, you're doing well. I love it. So any questions for Thursday's class in terms of preparation? I've seen these things going up and I'm not seeing it. Oh, Wayne. Yes, Wayne. Doing well. I like the red peppers. Next time what you can do too is put half red and half green. So you can have a contrast of your colors here. So talk to me. We understand what's going on for Thursday. I'm so sorry that you couldn't reach me. Buttermilk. Okay, somebody is asking a question. Hold up, let me get a question back. Measurements for buttermilk one more time. Okay, so the measurement is in there, you know. When you mix the 2 cups of UHT milk with the 1.5 tablespoons there already. Right?
Miss, what is the UHT milk?
UHT milk is the one in the big 1 liter box. Somebody is asking. Okay, just hold up. Let me just get to the questions. Does it have the recipe? Okay, so the recipe, Shanice, the recipe for the buttermilk is actually in the recipe. You're not making it separate. My phone number, 379-4258. Let me see if I can. And feel free to message me anything you need to know. So I just put it up there. You can message me on WhatsApp. You can message me on WhatsApp. You can message me on Messenger. And if you were trying to reach the page was actually hidden for a little while. So you can go back and look for my page, Firewood International. It's up and running again. You're able to find it now. So okay, so Leon, what we're doing for the next class is the southern fried chicken. And Wayne just put it up in them. The southern fried chicken, the buttermilk biscuits with gravy, and the corn and cucumber salad. So that will be, yeah, that will be the next class. So I take it that'll be okay for the rest of the afternoon. Oh, let me just show you my plate. Let me show you my plate before we leave. Just in case you want to pass across for dinner, this is what it will be looking like. Right? Thank you. Thank you. So I trust you had a wonderful evening. I did. I always have a wonderful evening when I'm cooking with other people. Thank you, Cassia. Thank you, Wade. Wade, now it's a meal for everybody. All right. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. And I know, Natasha, you're going to link with me Thank you, Wayne. Yes. So feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions, any concerns, message me. I will answer. I am more prone to answering. Yes, I'm more prone to answering WhatsApp than anything else. You can link with me on Facebook. You can go on the page and link with me. Firewood International. Misha. Yeah, Misha, yeah. Next week. Why don't you come to Arima? All right, so I think it's time for us to log on. We went 12 minutes over time. So unless you have any other question, you can message me on WhatsApp and I will answer anything there. So other than that, I am saying a very good evening to you. Have a wonderful next 2 days and we meet on Thursday afternoon at 4 p.m. for buttermilk biscuits. So Janelle, do you have anything to say before we leave? Blessed evening to you too.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you,
Um,
Selena.
I'd just like to inform you all that the recording would be posted on the LMS as usual. And I would also, I did send out an email with the information, with the recipes for the next classes also on the LMS. And it was posted in the chat as well. So
Nice.
if you all don't have any other questions, we are free to close with a prayer as usual, as we normally do.
Excuse, good afternoon.
Yes, Ms. McEwen.
I have one question. Now, I didn't cook along today, but I plan to do my cooking tomorrow. Please God, do you know what time it will be posted so that I can access the videos?
At the end of
video?
every class, the video has to be converted before I put it on. So it would be posted tonight and an announcement will be sent out to let you all know when it is posted. So you would receive an email with a notification stating that the email was, the recording was posted and it's available for viewing. Any
Okay.
other question? Let me just pause.